we look at renewable energy, I know that there's a lot of different perspectives on that, and I can imagine that there may have even been different viewpoints from the guys that you interviewed. How does that kind of coalesce into a message that is, you know, sort of a cohesive message from for the reader's point of view?
Well, it's a good question. I think it goes back to this thing about the tough reality. So, for instance, there are three kind of units of this book. The unit on technology covers probably, you know, 9 or 10 different major renewable energy technologies. So PV and solar thermal and geothermal and so forth. So that is a treatment of this thing such that you can say, well, all of these things make sense. Nobody's completely wasting their time on biofuels or whatever. All of these things make some level of sense. And the more you understand them, the more sense they make. And then the economic issues, when you realize who's behind this, who's trying to get this thing done, what are the capitalization factors, what are the political pressures, big money and big politics coming together to kind of make this a little bit tough for renewables. So it gets back to this tough realities thing. The real theme of this is this. You'd like to think this is an easy subject, and you recognize that it's vitally important that we get there, but it's simply not that easy.
All right. Do you find that as you've talked to these, these different experts on the various areas of renewable energy, that you've bumped into some controversial areas?
Oh, for sure. It was kind of interesting to me because even if I didn't bump into it, I provoked it. In other words, I really wanted to know at the end of the day, even so you got a college professor whose whole life's work has been hydrokinetics or algae. So pretty, how would you say, pretty obviously academic people with not tending to be controversial. And in other words, there weren't professors of political science at Berkeley in the 60s or something like that. You're talking to a PhD in mechanical engineering or something. So even when I say, well, what's stopping this thing? It seems to me like, for instance, a good little story on this thing is the guy in hydrokinetics, where I go, these people mortgage their houses to build Verdant, I think it's Verdant Technologies, that put a hydrokinetic energy extractor in the East River. It took them 6 years to get a permit on this thing. So in other words, Consolidated Edison completely held this thing up, and even today extracts money out of Verdant to pay them back for the power that they can't sell. So this was, I say, would you call this corruption? Corruption? And he goes, oh, I wouldn't call it corruption. I go, well, what would you call it then? And he explained this very nicely. I don't think he was kind of gilding the lily, but my point is that even the people from whom you don't expect controversy, you get it when you ask for it. Okay.
So I can envision that there's a lot of intelligent communication in here, but who is this actually geared toward? I mean, the reader. Is this for a PhD type of reader? Is this for anyone interested in the subject? Who'd you target the book for?
Well, it's certainly the latter. It's certainly the people who know a great deal about this already and, as I say, want to deep dive into some specific issue are probably going to find a better read someplace else. I do think that there are many millions of people who really want to have their finger on the pulse of this industry as it develops. It's changing every day, and it's going to change our civilization to the degree that we still have one here, 50 or 100 years from now. So I believe that there are a great number of people who, A, want to be a part of the business. This is a multi-trillion-dollar industry that's being born here. And B, who simply want to understand this as it develops simply because it's the right thing to do.